Welcome to the future of factory automation.
This program is a broadcast of a Japanese podcast that has been translated into English using Notebook LM.
So today we're really diving into something quite unique. It's a project that came out of a company idea contest.
Yeah, and our source material here is actually excerpts from a Japanese podcast. We've got these translations via Notebook LM, which is pretty cool.
It really is. And they're discussing, get this, a moving kotatsu, the Japanese heated table.
Exactly. Cozy, right. And this translation gives us a great peek into the creator's thinking and the hurdles they faced.
So our mission really is to unpack this. Where did the idea even come from? What were the technical bits, the legal stuff even?
And, what's the motivation behind building a rideable heated table? It's this really interesting mix of personal passion and actual engineering.
It is.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. A moving kotatsu. I mean, it sounds almost whimsical.
Totally.
But it started pretty practically, didn't it? This company idea contest.
Yeah, and the creator was apparently quite upfront about it. The prize money, 500,000 yen, was a big driver.
Which is refreshingly honest. Sometimes that practical push is exactly what you need to spark something really creative.
Absolutely. And you add in the deadline. They had to get it done by the next Sunday.
Whoa.
Yeah, that really ramps up the pressure. It wasn't some slow burn project. It was like a sprint.
Yeah.
Fueled by cash and a ticking clock.
Right. But it wasn't just the money, was it? The core idea came from, wanting to be comfortable, wanting that warmth, but still needing to move around.
Especially in colder places, yeah. Imagine your cozy kotatsu just gliding between your desk and, I don't know, the coffee machine.
Exactly. It's that mix of the everyday and the slightly absurd that grabs you.
And there's this other layer, too. The creator apparently had a history with kinetic art. Moving bathtubs were mentioned.
Moving bathtubs. Okay.
Yeah. So it suggests this longer-term interest in taking ordinary stuff and making it, dynamic, unexpected.
So it wasn't just about warmth and movement. There's an artistic, maybe slightly rebellious streak there, too. Wanting it to be more than just a gimmick.
Seems like it. And then, this is where it gets really interesting. The timing worked out because of changes in Japanese traffic law.
Right. The electric kick scooter rules changed, and this new category popped up.
Exactly, the specified small-sized motorized bicycle. And crucially, this classification, it doesn't require a seatbelt.
So suddenly the idea of driving while inside a kotatsu wasn't automatically illegal.
Precisely. It's a great example of how, legal changes you might not even notice can suddenly unlock totally new kinds of innovation. Who would have thought?
It really makes you think. And this wasn't just a spur-of-the-moment thing either. This whole concept of a moving enclosed space, like a mobile secret base.
Yeah, that's been a dream for a while, apparently, going back to when they were involved with RoboCup, the robotics competition.
So this idea has roots, deep ones.
Definitely. They mentioned it was almost a 50-50 choice back then, build robots for RoboCup or build a moving kotatsu.
Wow. So this contest, the legal changes, it was like the stars aligning for this long-held idea.
Kind of seems that way, but okay, having the idea and the opportunity is one thing. Actually building it is another.
For sure. And they were apparently right in the thick of it, trying to get it registered before that Sunday deadline.
Yeah, crunch time. And, of course, engineering being engineering, they apparently hit a design snag recently, even though the basic movement was working.
Always something, isn't there?
Always. And then there are the regulations themselves, like the width limit under 600 millimeters for this vehicle class.
And theirs was a bit over.
Just slightly, yeah. 640 millimeters. So, tiny details like that become huge hurdles you have to overcome to be street legal.
You can picture it, though, right? Seeing those Twitter photos, just a standard kotatsu unit sitting on top of this motorized base. It's pretty ingenious.
It really is. Now, shifting gears a bit, the creator had some really strong feelings about M5 stack development boards. Called them godlike, apparently.
That's high praise. What was the main reason?
Simple. No soldering needed.
Okay. That makes a huge difference.
Totally. Soldering can be fiddly, needs equipment, takes time, you can mess it up. It's a barrier for a lot of people.
Right. So M5 Stack basically lowers that barrier significantly.
Yeah.
It makes prototyping faster, easier.
Exactly. Less hassle, less cost in terms of time and potential errors. The creator seems to feel these kinds of platforms are enabling loads of projects that maybe wouldn't have even gotten off the ground otherwise.
It's like democratizing hardware creation in a way.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, because before your options were often full DIY with lots of component sourcing and soldering.
Or super expensive industrial gear.
Right, M5 stack and similar things fill that gap in the middle. Maybe component-wise it's a bit pricier, but the convenience factor is massive.
So how does this connect then to the world of, serious industrial automation,
Yeah.
FA systems, PLCs?
Well, the creator's view, interestingly, wasn't that M5 stack needs to be the PLC. It was more about making sure these different systems can talk to each other easily.
Ah, so connectivity between the rapid prototyping tools and the established industrial controllers. That's the key.
Precisely. The goal isn't replacement, it's integration. And things like built-in Wi-Fi or Ethernet on newer embedded boards are helping a lot.
Makes sense.
And then you have software libraries like Modbus TCP becoming available for platforms like M5 Stack. That lets them speak the same language, basically, as many PLCs.
Which must be a big step up from the old days. I gather integrating IT and FA stuff used to be a real pain. Different voltages, protocol.
Oh, definitely. Big challenges. So things like Modbus TCP are an improvement, though the discussion suggested it's still maybe a bit cumbersome.
Right. Not quite plug and play yet.
Not quite. The ideal scenario, maybe looking ahead, could be something like MQTT becoming standard on PLCs. That operates at a higher level, kind of hides the hardware differences, makes it more about configuration than coding complex communication routines.
Interesting. And they touched on that philosophical difference too, right?
Yeah.
IT favoring software configuration. FA often preferring hardware switches for reliability.
Yeah, that came up. The FA world often likes physical settings you can see and trust, especially for critical things like network addresses. Keeps things separate, less prone to software issues causing connection problems. The creators seem to lean towards keeping hardware configs separate.
It's that tension between flexibility and rock-solid stability, I guess.
Exactly. And FA also has that huge challenge of backward compatibility, making sure new stuff works with machines that might be decades old.
Right, you can't just rip everything out. That must complicate things immensely.
For sure. It slows down the adoption of totally new approaches sometimes.
Which sort of leads into that little tangent about rotary switches for setting IP addresses on equipment.
Yeah. Those little dials you see sometimes. Turns out they're common, but not like a universal requirement. Some PLCs do it via software now.
Any downsides to the switches?
Well, they mentioned it can be tricky to change just one part of the IP address easily sometimes, depending on how they're set up.
Okay.
And there was that anecdote, maybe true, maybe not, about a specific type of switch configuration originating from, like, General Motors specs for cars.
Oh, weird connections.
The tech world is full of them.
So, wrapping back to the Kotatsu, it really is this amazing blend of, like, personal dream, tech tinkering, and legal maneuvering.
And that deadline was looming large this past Sunday for an event at Toyota Sky Hall. We don't know for sure if they made it.
Fingers crossed they did. It'd be amazing to see that thing actually rolling around.
Definitely. The creator's Twitter feed is probably the place to watch for updates on whether the moving Kotatsu saw the light of day.
We'll certainly be keeping an eye out. It's just a fantastic story.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
Mhm.
How these unexpected combinations of tech, creativity, and circumstance can lead to something completely new.
Absolutely. Well said.
Posting 200 daily episodes. Please follow and comment.
And as you listen, maybe consider, what everyday object would you want to see reimagined with mobility? What would you make move or